everyone, and welcome to this episode of Fan-Made. Ever since the first Call of Duty and Halo came onto the gaming landscape, the FPS genre has ruled gaming both in player base and in sales numbers. I've always loved playing Call of Duty or Battlefield, alone or with friends, doesn't matter. But lately, these games have been losing my interest fast. The big FPS franchises have been facing plenty of criticism over the last few years. As Call of Duty keeps getting criticized over the repetitive nature of the franchise, DICE and EA are being called out for the increasing amount of microtransactions in every new game they bring out. And the big new IPs that were built up to lead the genre forward in the future, like a Battlefront or a Destiny, they didn't manage to make that big of a splash either with their first entries. These things annoy me for sure, but if the gameplay or the story is good enough to entertain me, I can live with that. But lately, the gameplay has just been lacking for me. The unrealistic parts of the gameplay, like the respawning, the pacing and how easy some of the weapons are to use, are just making these kinds of games way less enjoyable for me. There's a way to get me back into the shooter games, but the real question is, would you like the same changes as I do? Well, there's only one way to find out. Of all the things that annoy me the most about these kinds of games is when you move along the map and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, an enemy spawns near you and kills you. This is especially bad in Battlefield 1 with the squad spawning system. While it's great that you can quickly go back to your friends and to the action, the fact that a soldier can just magically appear in a key tactical position just pulls me out of the game in a second. While this might be the worst in Battlefield, they also offer up the solution. In the prologue of the game, we play as an entire squad of US soldiers, and every time we die, we respawn as the soldier next to us. I want to implement this feature as the entire setup for a shooter. From the start of every game, all soldiers are present on the map, and the game ends when one team achieves their main objective or completely wipes out the other team. All the soldiers that are present on the map represent the amount of credits a team has, similar to what we see in shooters right now. And as there are always more credits than players, this will mean that the remaining soldiers will be bots until a player dies and takes its place. And to make sure you keep playing with your friends, we use squads of around 24 soldiers. But be aware, every time your squad runs out of man and you die, it's game over. That will be more costly than just giving you a worse average. And this is just the first step in making this a more intense and realistic experience. Real conflicts aren't just won by killing the enemy. You need to capture strategic points, collect intel, but also hold the points you capture and keep your army alive. So during the matches, different squads will be assigned different tasks, both offensive and defensive. Capture the objective, hold the town, or defend the supply line are just some of the different tasks you will get. Within the squads you can also only survive if everyone does their part. So resupplying and patching up wounds for your fellow soldiers will be rewarded more than it is right now. But be aware, just like everything else, this will be a lot harder than it is right now. First off, not everyone can be saved and brought back to life. If you can save someone's life is determined by where they're hit and with what. And sometimes it's just not enough to get them back onto their feet and back into the action. But if you do manage to get them away from the front alive, you will be rewarded because you did save that person's life. Secondly, no one can just infinitely give others spare ammo. So if you're the runner for the squad, you can only carry so much extra rounds. And if your squad is running low, well, hope you aren't surrounded and quickly run back to an ammo depot. And use what you have sparingly, because you might just run out. To complement this new framework, you'll need massive maps that can hold all the players and objectives. The sizes of maps like the St. Quentin Scar or the Sinai Desert in Operations mode will be perfect for this, if you can design them in a way that all teams can be both offensive and defensive in the same match. And unlike now where parts of the map are locked until a certain criteria is achieved, the map should be fully accessible from the start, opening up the chance and the game for more aggressive and tactful plays. This sounds great and all, at least to me it does, but shooters are the way they are for a reason, and that's pacing. The big online shooters are well known for their high speed pacing, and many people like them for this. But this does clash with actual warfare, where most time was spent waiting for orders or for your enemies to attack. This new version of the FPS will have a slower pacing than the others. The cost of that and the size of the maps will make that a given. But to keep the pacing close to what it is right now, Field Command will issue orders quicker and more aggressively than they would in real life, forcing the players to act faster or receive penalties for disobeying orders. Winning on the battlefield isn't just about killing all your enemies, as many more elements dictate if you achieve victory or defeat. And I would like for the big FPS games to reflect upon this. But as always, what do you guys think? Do you think adding these elements to make the games more realistic are worth slowing down the pacing for? And what are some innovations needed to bring the FPS genre back to the top? Let me know in the comments below. My name is Tom, and I hope to see you all next week.